and welcome to Thursday's video. So we're just going to do a little recap, and today we are recapping over from converting from centimetres into metres. Now this will come in really handy with today's learning and also with Friday's learning. So I want you to look at these heights of things in centimetres, and I'd like you to convert them into metres and centimetres, please. Pause the video here and have a go. So I did put a little help on the board because I've told you that 100 centimetres, I've reminded you that 100 centimetres equals 1 metre. So let's use that to help us convert. So if 100 centimetres equals 1 metre, then 400 centimetres is going to equal, you're right, 4 metres. 550 centimetres, so we can tell is the multiple of 100 in there is 500, and there's 500s in that number. So we know that there's 5 metres, and then therefore there's 50 centimetres left over. Same with this one. We know that 100 centimetres equals 1 metre, so we know there's 1 metre in there. But then can you see that there's 3 centimetres left over more than 100, so therefore there are 3 centimetres. Give that a tick if you've got it right, and then we'll move on to today's learning. So today we are comparing lengths, and this is part 2, okay? So it's going to get a little bit harder, okay? Because yesterday's lesson was more of a recap. So step 1 today is understanding the comparison symbols. Now we have done that before, so it's kind of like a recap again, but that's our step 1. Our step 2 today is I can compare lengths. So to compare is to look at 2 different things and see which one's larger or bigger and which one's smaller. Now step 3 is similar, but that's not just looking at the centimetres, it's also looking at the millimetres. Because if 2 things have the same amount of centimetres in them, you have to look at the millimetres to see which one's longer or which one's shorter. Now you can pause the video here if you want to write your LI and date, but you don't have to. Right, my turn. So, using a ruler, I have measured the width of 5 different books in my house. And I have recorded them to the nearest millimetre, okay? So I haven't just looked at them and thought, that's about 15 centimetres. I've looked and I've calculated the millimetres as well, just to check that I was doing as accurately as I can. Record your results in a table, which I've done, and then compare and order them. So what I'm going to need to do now, I've measured, and now I need to compare. So, I'll pop that up there. I've got 2 words down here. I have got longest and shortest. So I'm going to pop the shortest all the way down there and the longest all the way down there. So I'm going to now need to put them in order from the longest to the shortest. Okay, let's start with the shortest. Now looking at the centimetres, the shortest centimetre, the smallest book, the lowest amount, is the one that says 10 centimetres because that's the smallest number, okay? So that is Chicken Licken. So let's pop him in there. Chicken Licken. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a comparison sign. So remember, the crocodile always eats the larger amount, okay? So I'm going to do a crocodile eating that way because the Chicken Licken is the smallest one. It's the shortest book, okay? So that's why my crocodile is facing that way. And they're all going to be facing the same way because we're going up to the longest book. So my next one is a bit trickier because there are 2 different books that both are 11 centimetres and they've both got a different amount of millimetres, otherwise they'd be the same. So we've got Sleeping Beauty and we've got Black Beauty. So we can look and we can see that Sleeping Beauty is slightly shorter than Black Beauty because 4 millimetres is a smaller number than 6 millimetres. So Sleeping Beauty is next. So therefore we know then that Black Beauty is after that because obviously that's the next shortest. Now we've got 2 more. Magic Faraway Tree and Peter Rabbit. Now I can see that the Magic Faraway Tree is 12 centimetres and 3 millimetres and Peter Rabbit is 15 centimetres. So Peter Rabbit must be the longest book, or got the largest width. So the Magic Faraway Tree and then Peter Rabbit is the longest. So I've put that in order from the shortest book to the longest book. So now it is your turn. I'm going to read you the question and then I would like you to work out the answer. 4 friends are building towers. Eva's tower is 22 centimetres and 7 millimetres tall. Teddy's tower is 22 metres tall. Annie's tower is 215 millimetres tall. And Dexter's tower is 260 millimetres tall. Order the children's towers in descending order. So that means you need to start, here it's asking you to start with the smallest amount and go up to the biggest one because of, if you can see the signs. Pause the video here and have a go. So you should have paused the video and had a go. I'm going to give you a little tip. With this one, the reason it's a little bit harder than the last one we did is because 2 of the measurements are in millimetres and 2 of the measurements are in centimetres. So you need to convert the centimetres to millimetres, okay? Now if that helps you, you can pause the video again and have a go. If not, I'm going to carry on with the answers. So, I'm going to convert Eva's and Teddy's towers into millimetres so that I can easily order them, okay? So Eva's tower is 22 centimetres and 7 millimetres tall. So that means that Eva's tower is 227 millimetres tall, okay? And Teddy's tower is 220 millimetres tall because it's 22 centimetres. 10 millimetres equals 1 centimetre. All I have done to work that out is I have timesed the answer by 10. I've made it 10 times bigger because the millimetre is 10 times smaller than a centimetre. With this one, I just times the centimetres by 10 to get 220, and then you just pop the 7 millimetres on at the end because you're already in millimetres. Now, let's start with the largest, the longest tower, the tallest tower. Now, I think, looking at the answers, the tallest tower is Dexter's tower, okay? Because Dexter's tower is 260 millimetres. Now, the one smaller than Dexter's tower is going to be Eva's tower because that one is 227 millimetres. After Eva's tower, we have Teddy's tower, 220, and then the shortest tower is Annie's tower because that was 215. So they were all about the same. Dexter's was quite a bit bigger there actually. Okay. With this one, what I would like you to do is I would like you to have a look at this table. Now the table shows the heights of 4 different children. Some of the children's heights are in centimetres and some of the children's heights are in metres. Now you're going to need to put them in order and then you are going to need to convert, well you're going to need to convert first probably, convert them all into centimetres because some of them are in metres at the moment. And then you're going to need to put them in order so that you can answer the questions. Now, what it's asking for in the gap is either shorter or taller. Okay, so Rosie is shorter than Jack or Rosie is taller than Jack. I'm going to pop up here to remind you that 1 metre equals 100 centimetres. So don't forget. Pause the video here and have a go. So, let's go through the answers. Now, the first thing I did, you can see down here, is I put them all into centimetres. I made them all into centimetres, okay? So, what I did, I haven't put them in order yet, but I've said Rosie's 109 centimetres, Amir is 105 centimetres, Jack is 135 centimetres, and Dora is 145 centimetres, okay? Now, you can put them in order if you want to, but you don't have to because you can probably work it out anyway. So, Rosie's 109, Jack is 135 centimetres. Who is taller? So Jack is taller. So Rosie is shorter than Jack. So Jack is 135 and Dora is 145. So Jack is shorter than Dora because I think Dora is the tallest, isn't she? Amir, 105, is how much than Rosie? So Amir is 105 centimetres and Rosie is 109 centimetres. So therefore, Amira is shorter than Rosie. Not much, only by 4 centimetres. Dora, 145, is something than a mere 105. So Dora is taller than a mere. That's hard to say. So tick your answers if you got them right. Really well done. That's it's kind of like a 2 or 3 step problem really, because you've got to convert, you've got to order, and then you've got to work out the question, fill in the gaps. Okay, so that is a hard question, but if you got that right, really well done. So your mild part of our learning today is just the first page of your worksheet. Remember, it gets harder every single question you do. The medium challenge, they will be more of those 3-step problems like the one we just did. Okay, and obviously with a word problem, it is sometimes tricky. You just have to really think, what is it asking you to do? The Chili Challenge today is our problem solving Chili Challenge worksheet, and that is separate to your normal worksheet. Get a grown up to take a picture of your learning and pop it on Dojo for me to have a look. Good luck!